Alright, hold on, I gotta fix this problem. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes Max just kinda messes up randomly and you just have to restart it. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm not gonna continue trying to do that thing I was doing. It's pretty much just for myself. You can figure it out on your own. One thing I am going to do though is fix these smoothing groups on this hanging wire thing, because as you can see they're all separate. To do that, I'm just going to select the full element right there and clear all the smoothing groups and give it a smoothing group of 3 right there. Alright. That should make everything better. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're making some progress in this thing. It's actually almost done, even if you can't tell. Okay, now what we gotta do is go ahead and start making the ceiling right here. Okay, I'm going to begin by first off deleting this face right here, or polygon that is. Just deleting it. Then I'm going to go ahead and select these, or this edge right here, and extrude it by -30. That should be about right. I'm gonna copy the coordinates on the z-axis from that. Then I'm going to hold down the shift key and drag up the edge over here. I'm going to paste the coordinates from that I just copied from over there. Select both of the edges and hit the bridge tool. Alright, now that both of the edges still selected, I'm going to go into the chamfer tool and chamfer that by a value of about 30. What that'll do is it will create an angle that is exactly 45 degrees. And even though actually when you do it by 30, you'll see that this face right there gets smaller and smaller, and when you go all the way to 30 it seems to disappear completely. That's deceiving because it actually is still there, but there's an easy way to get rid of it. So just do it by 30. And as you can see, this one vertice that looks like one vertice is actually 4. To do that, just hit the weld and everything should go away. Do that for all of them. And everything should be fine on the rest of the things. You can go ahead and do a border check if you want to see any errors, which there isn't. So everything should be okay. Alright then. I'm gonna go ahead and start creating this formation on top, which actually is a lot easier than it looks. So I'm gonna begin by connecting the edges right here. With 2 edges, 0 pinch. And it doesn't seem to be exactly like that, so I'm just going to check this real quick. Okay, actually we do want a little bit of pinch. Give it a pinch of 25 to make that middle polygon a little bit bigger. That should be pretty decent right there. Okay. So go ahead and delete this middle polygon. Select the 2 edges and then just go ahead and extrude them. I'm going to extrude them by 20 units. Alright then. Click the bridge tool to simply create a face in between the two. And now we're gonna go ahead and use the chamfer tool to give it that edge. Huh, something's not right here. Oh, it seems as though I was aligning this with a different edge. Sorry about that. It just means I have to lift it up a little bit. No problem. I just extruded it too far. So I'm gonna go ahead and extrude it again, but not by as much as I did before. I'm gonna extrude it by 15 units. That's more reasonable. Then I'm gonna bridge it again. And now I'm gonna do the chamfer tool. I'd say about 7.5. Do chamfer by 7.5 units. And I think, as you can see, it's starting to look pretty decent. All I need to do is start adding that thing right there. Alright then. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start creating that beam running across the top beam right there. As you can see, the top beam goes through it in the middle a little bit, and it looks kind of complicated, but it's actually really easy. I'll show you how to create it as quickly as possible. Okay, so go ahead and select your object and then select all of the edges making up the top of your ceiling. Go ahead and connect them with 2 segments and pinch it by -60. Delete all the faces that make up the middle of the new edges you just created. Okay, and to get that hole right there, I'm going to go ahead and do something real quick that will help us later on. I'm going to select all the edges that make up the end of these beams, just like so. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude them by 5 units. I think it should be about 5 units. Okay. So there seems to be a little error over here, as you can see, so to fix that, it's possibly just a stray vertex or something, so I'm going to select my whole model in vertex selection mode and just weld it by 0.1. Alright. I think that fixed it. Okay then. As you can see, it doesn't have that same error anymore right there. Now, since extruding it didn't connect it to this edge, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and connect it now. So I'm going to go into edge selection mode and insert vertices on the sides where I'm going to connect it. Then I'm going to simply target load those new vertices to the edge here. And that should connect it. Okay, now I'm going to create this dip in the bottom here. So to do that, I'm going to first create the bottom face by selecting the two edges right here that make up the bottom and clicking the bridge button to create a face in between the two of them. I'm going to go ahead and select these two edges right here and connect them twice, and I'm going to pinch them by 40, I believe. Yeah, about 40, just to put them on the side there where the indentions are going to be. Now I'm going to make these two edges into four edges by going into the chamfer tool and chamfering it by a value of 18 units. Now that I've done that, I'm going to delete the faces that were created by this. I'm just going to select all the edges right there and extrude that by negative 12.5. Then I'm going to create polygons between the edges by clicking the bridge tool. You can see how the bridge tool is so much easier than creating faces manually. Okay, now to give it that angled look over there, I'm going to select the edges. And so it's a perfect 45-degree angle. I'm going to use the chamfer tool once more. Just go to however much is almost to the end, and then just sort of round it to the end. That would be 12.5, I believe. And because there's still a face in between these two edges right here, I'm just going to go back into the vertices selection mode and select the whole model once more and weld it with a threshold of 0.1. That'll get rid of any bad faces we don't want in there. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and go into the border selection tool and select the border right here and click the cap button. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Now to get that hole in the middle, I'm going to select the polygons I created earlier by extruding the tip of this pillar on both sides. And I'm going to click the bridge tool once more. Now I'll just kind of hollow out the center there. Now all I need to do is target weld the unused vertices to the end to clean things up. Alright then, as you can see, there seems to be some smoothing groups applied that there shouldn't be, so I'm going to fix that real quick. To do that, I'm going to go into the polygon selection mode and click on the select by SG button. That'll select any polygons with smoothing groups applied. As long as you click the boxes right there, click OK. And deselect anything that's not supposed to have a smoothing group on it. Basically anything that's not a round edge. So I'm gonna deselect everything right here. Then simply go down and click the clear all button to get rid of all the smoothing groups. And that seemed to have fixed the error that I was creating. Alright then. As you can see, that went by pretty quickly, so hopefully you won't have too much trouble. Now the only thing left to do on the ceiling here is create those light holes in the side. So I'm going to do that real quick. To do that, just go ahead and select the polygons on the sides. And I'm going to inset that by 14 units. And of course you want to make sure it's selected by polygon.